Hello and welcome to this Project in a Box presentation. Here we're going to talk about project reporting simplified and why that's okay most of the time. So here we have our long-suffering project manager thinking about the reporting that he needs to do. One of the major problems with reporting is for most organisations it takes just so long, the reports are always out of date. You hear about people arranging their board meetings for the 10th of the next month so that they've got time to compile the reports that they need for the board, which is just simply ridiculous. Reports often lack consistency. They're manually assembled by individual project managers, and that means that they all follow slightly different approaches, as they would have to, I guess. But it just means that the data is not always comparable. And it's a huge commitment of time and effort that should be better spent, should really be being spent working on the project, managing the project, dealing with the suppliers and the customers and all those sorts of issues that have to come up, rather than a handle-turning exercise of generating the report. So what do we mean by reports? Well, the sort of things that Project in a Box produces are standardized report content using the design and layout that you want, the structure and level of detail that you want, including status information, task, risks, issues, finances, images and diagrams, custom data, benefits, quality information, assurance and governance formats, whatever you want to have based on the things that the system is collecting and the things that you hold in your project files. This is the sort of thing we produce for project reports. These are standard off-the-shelf project reports, and of course you can customize all these. And of course, once you have all your projects, which is our basic unitary model here, you can then merge them together because you have consistency in how the data is being collected. You can end up producing portfolio reports like this, but that's a topic for another session. So we know about Project in a Box, and when we create our project from our method template, it establishes the processes. It puts in place a document library of all the documents required for that project, the templates that you would like people to collect data from, and of course also for the general management of the project. And those files people can just simply check out, check in, update their plans, risks, issues, finances, benefits, whatever else it is that you want to collect, and that data is going to be available then for reporting. But the method template also assembles a list of properties for the project. These are sort of, if you like, metadata about the project. You decide what format and fields they're going to be. Again, there's a standard set available off the shelf. And it also defines the sources of the data that's actually practically used in the reporting. So we've got a benefits spreadsheet, for example. Which charts do we want out of that turned into images? Which tables and cells do we want to bring out of that as properties or as blocks of data to include in reports? All that's done as standard. So every project of this type will start in the same way. It means it can start at the press of a button and all be there established from the very beginning. People can then just produce report and it will bring back whatever data is appropriate that's been put into that project. Really very straightforward. So summarizing all that, we've got properties and metadata, can be from a form or from Excel. We've got plan and task data, can be from Microsoft Project, our own free planner tool, Excel templates, XER, transfer files. Risk and issue data from Planner or Excel. Finance, quality, sales funnel data, standard formats we provide for these in Excel. In fact, you can bring anything you want to from Excel. We talk about Excel a lot, and many people will tell you that that's a bad thing. Excel that we provide generally has a condensed experience of the project organizations. The templates are locked down, so they can't be tampered with, and you're standardizing the collection of information. And Excel's a tool that everybody knows how to use, so it makes life collection very easy, and you can then customize and personalize it. It's not database stuff you have to do. You just change your Excel template, you collect some different data. Pretty straightforward stuff. Now, as the project progresses, we've been collecting all sorts of other things: images, schematics, organograms, site photos, layout drawings, the sort of things that document your project. They want to be included in reports too. Assurance activity, governance data generated by the system automatically available for your reporting. Custom data as well, as you collect ad hoc things, license applications, snagging lists, etc. in Excel, you can then have that immediately assembled into your report. All pretty straightforward stuff. So let's go and have a look at a couple of examples of that. So here we are in my project. It's been running for a little while. It's got some documentation together. I want to go and produce a report on it. Pretty straightforward to do. Select reports from the reporting menu, project report, and it's going to lay out here a set of things. I can choose from this pick list the bits that I want to include in my report. So I can go through these one at a time if I want to, or I can just go, which is great, and choose a preset standard report set up. Again, the whole load set up as standard, or your administrators can save extra global ones so that everybody has the same report definition. That's been picked up. It's now said, well, in this report we're going to have these standard things. We're going to also have our custom spreadsheets. We're going to have these things coming from our planning database, task, risk and issue analysis. We're going to have some quality assurance information about user activity, and we're going to put all that out in this poster format. I just press run report. It knows where all the stuff is. It goes away and packages it for me. Uses HTML to do all this, but in practice here it's exported for me into Word, because I like to, now I've got all this data together, sometimes I like to change and tweak my commentaries, and I can do that then directly in the Word file. So this report's aimed at being the sort of thing you might show to a sponsor or customer. We've got some status stuff right up at the front, nicely formatted. We've got finances, an image, or more than one image if you want to. We've got plans, risks and issues. And here we've gone for a fairly modest set. We haven't necessarily included every risk and issue in the project, and we haven't gone for the detailed analysis models. We've just gone for a nice bar chart and a list ordered by something, and a relatively small set of columns. In plans, same sort of thing. We've gone for a relatively high level, just allows us to see where we are roughly in the project and what's going on. We haven't included every single task. We've included a modest set of columns for that as well. So the idea is we've got one page here with the summary of the project. Great as a poster, or to talk through with the sponsor when you've got lots of projects to talk about. Second page here then includes project specific things coming from your spreadsheets in the project. So you can get onto here the topics that matter most for your particular project. That's great. Here we're doing some moving, so here's the cost budget estimate for moving things from different offices, all that sort of stuff. So that's nice and straightforward to do for that project, just the right format for that audience. If you're not happy about that, well, you come back here and you change something. So we can come into the risk model here and say, well, in this particular project, for a particular audience, for example, they don't want to see the summary chart. What they always ask to see is the risk matrix for residual risks. So let's change that like that, and then rerun our report. And that's what we've got, residual risk matrix instead. So we can change these things around nice and easily to get in the data, the format that we want. And now if that's the report that we're going to use every time for this particular customer, we can then save this new specification just for us if we want to, or if we have enough permissions to share across the organization, so we can store that corporate learning about what goes into particular reports for particular audiences, and keep all that. So here I'm going to go to something quite different. I've got the sort of thing I might sit down with my project team, do a project team meeting, and straight away this is different. It's got a resource chart on it. It's got a different report template, a different layout structure, which is got different branding structure onto the report. So a whole load of different data here. Completely different layout. We've got everything in the sections here, and it's laid out down the page. We've got a nice long format, all my properties, images, finances, and those previous sort of things we talked about. We've got, when we come to our tasks, risks and issues, we've got the full plan here, because we're going to be wanting to talk in detail with the project team. So we've got the full detail of the plan, and also an extended set of columns. We've included some cost columns on here, and resources about who's doing the actual work, and descriptions, etc. So got a lot more detail, which is what we need when we're sitting down with a particular audience. My risk analysis is a bit more complete as well. We've also included response tables, so we can see who's doing what against the various risks. Same sort of thing with issues. We've got a resource chart, and then down at the bottom here we've got project quality list. This is looking at the entire project and which files do we have in documents. So we don't have an acceptance record for this project, we don't have an exception plan for this project. I can see my project plan is currently approved, and I can see how people are working on things. Is somebody currently, are there files in the project that people are currently working on? And it would tell me here. So deployment schedule is currently being worked on by me. So all that sort of thing just gives the detail that you need when you're sitting down with the project team to go through all that. And you've produced two really quite different reports from the same data, same source data, in a fraction of a second. And if you want to go to a different project, you just move to a different project, run the report again. And that's all established straight away for you. So let's go. Last quick thing is to go and create a new project. So I'm going to put a new web project. Choose a method to create that from, and here we're going to go for our 3-step project. So now we've got that project together, I can go and find it all the way down here somewhere, new web project, and all the materials that we need for this will have now been established. So I can just come to reports, project report, and run the same report that we did last time, and we'll get exactly the same sort of thing out. We can see it's a different project and it's not yet populated in many of these areas. We've got blank finances, we've got a blank highlight report. We can see it's picked up user activity. I've just selected the project once. We've got some tasks, we've got some blank risks and issues or dummies. We've got our quality assurance information ready there for us. We've got a very simple resource chart. So the information is already there, it's all populated and set up. The project team can just start working on the documents. Reporting will be able to be done straight away on that content. Okay, so that's the end of our session on reporting simplified. Of course, reporting isn't always simplified. We've got to talk about portfolios and complex, sensitive, unique projects that don't want to follow standard reporting, making differences for different customers, different parts of the organisation, etc. And there's plenty of capability in here for doing all that, and plenty of time to be able to get on with doing that, because the standard stuff is done very quickly. And that's the key, making the simple hand-turning routine parts of project management be straightforward, be done by the system to give you time to focus on the things that you need to do. So I hope you found that useful. If you've got any further questions, just drop us a line and we'll be delighted to fill in the gaps for you. Thank you very much.